Hey, what's going on, guys? Brian here, and we're going to just jump right into this video. If you enjoy these patch note videos, please hit that like button. That's going to be a great way of helping the channel and these videos out in the algorithm, because I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. We're going to go through New Worlds Update 1.6.1, which is scheduled for August 3rd at 11 p.m. Pacific time. So for you in the Central Texas area folks, like myself, that's going to be 1 a.m. August the 4th. So by the time you wake up, if you're watching this tomorrow, the update's live, and this is what we're going to get with it. Again, I'm going to just jump into the notes themselves. I'll give you guys my thoughts as we go along. Probably hearing the kids play Legos in the background, and there's an all-out war for the Legos here in my household. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. Expeditions Tempest Heart. They fixed an issue that caused players to both, in the normal and mutated versions of the Heart, to still accrue durability damage. Now, they removed durability damage from Expeditions. I honestly think this is going to be tied into more cross-server stuff later down the line, but because they made changes to how coins and everything kind of works, they made that change. Clearly did not hit the Tempest, and it looks like that is now going to be fixed as of tomorrow. Now, here's something interesting. I'm going to give you both my frustrated thought as well as the kind of the reason behind it in dev, because I tend to hear the frustrated thought first because it's the natural thought we all have. But then ultimately I'm going to kind of talk about why these things kind of happen. We are temporarily raising the maximum daily expedition limit from 15 to 25. They found an issue where the 3v3 PvP arenas were actually consuming run counts. So they have bumped up the total personal allotment until they work on a permanent fix. This extra allotment will be lowered back down when the fix is brought live. This is a big note. And for myself, the first reaction is like, ooh, how is that kind of thing not discovered? But then being a developer myself, it's always one of those things that it just either gets missed, or what happens here, the reality is that sometimes things like this happen. Now, what you want to do is you want to create a test case so that in future updates, this thing doesn't happen again. So I'm generally more forgiving of bugs and issues within the game as long as they aren't the same persistent bugs or issues that happen. That usually means to me some kind of issue when things get branched. And I know I'm talking development stuff here, and that's just kind of my background. So when you branch software code, that generally means that obviously you're going to go down one path, you're going to get things done, and then eventually those things all get merged together. That can actually be a time-consuming process, and that's where sometimes issues pop up. But what I don't like to see in my games is when an issue that was fixed months ago rears its ugly head. So in this case, it's interesting. It's a new system that they brought in, so it's clear that it connected into other things, and the counter was being dinged with other instance-based content, and there just probably wasn't a test for it. If it was reported, it just didn't get to the devs in time. Ultimately, looks like it's fixed-ish here. This will help give kind of some relief to that mindset. I hadn't even experienced it myself, and I do test and play on the PTR. So despite everybody testing and their own internals, sometimes these things happen. Should it hopefully not happen again? Yes, and obviously once they get that permanent fix in, we'll see. Now, here's the real kicker, and this is kind of why this almost is a discussion video just for this line itself, is when it comes down to 25. I wonder if we'll end up seeing them continue to adjust those numbers in terms of the daily limits, and etc. Because at some point, if people feel like 25 felt really good, and then it gets lowered down, even if they weren't doing the 3v3 PvP arenas, it will feel like a nerf later. So stay tuned. We'll see if they adjust it back down to 15, or if they end up going into 20. Who knows? Like, I don't know what's going to ultimately happen. Right now, that is essentially the note, and those are my thoughts on that line item. Now, we've got some combat AI general fixes here. They fixed an issue that caused some ability passive, status effects, and perk activation cooldowns to reset when swapping weapons. They fixed an issue that caused the wrong drops to appear from enemies in Siren Sands, and they fixed an issue that caused several weapon AoE abilities to not cause damage when impacting against the terrain. For war, they adjusted collision around war camps to prevent players from climbing over the walls. That makes sense. We've seen something like this happen, obviously, in OPR, and players are resourceful and things like that. So, yeah, I think that's going to be fixed. We'll see if players find other ways around these kind of systems. Now, for the UI, UX, aka user experience, if you ever see UX and didn't know what that meant, and the social aspects, for the general TAM here, the special fishing event pop-up model will display every weekend through the fishing and music double XP event for your salvage and repair. They fixed an issue that caused salvaging items while at maximum repair parts to not work when using hotkeys. They fixed an issue that caused the salvaging function to unintentionally consume additional items. The Azoth vials have been re-enabled for use, including in salvage. They fixed an issue that prevented players from salvaging additional Azoth vials if they were capped. Now it will only basically let you salvage enough to put you at the cap and not over salvage, preventing waste. For the World Experience Summer Medley Fair event, they added a unique event background for the Eternum Sturgeon Hotspot tooltip. For the musical instruments, the unstunk function is now disabled when playing an instrument in musical performance. For the exploration, they corrected the names and the description of the text of a few points of interest throughout the world. Now, due to the timing, localization has not been updated for this item. Now, they also fixed a bounty of Tres Campos point of interest that appears correctly in the world, and they fixed an issue that caused Admiral's Black Powder's drop to actually show up on another AI's loot pool. For the quest, they corrected objectives and localization names in the quest of the Dagger in the Mist and All That Remains. They also corrected quest pin locations and lore notes related to the quest Stories Among Ships. Now, what you don't see here, and this will be the real big question for tomorrow, is the new Barnacles and Black Powder expedition accessible? The teleport point is, and so if this opens up tomorrow, I think that's great. That's what we're expecting. Also, we're kind of expecting the party finder, unless they're still making adjustments on that. So I don't see those two items listed here in the notes. That could just be an oversight. We've seen that happen from time to time, but we'll find out tomorrow, obviously, if those have been enabled, and I personally do hope that they are. I know a lot of us are excited to jump into the new expedition and more. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video, just kind of as a shout out and personal note. August the 12th, we're doing a fishing tournament, raising money for St. Jude's. Hopefully you want to come hang out and you want to participate. It doesn't matter what world you're on. We've got it set up, and it's going to be a hopefully good, fun time. And hopefully we'll raise some money for St. Jude's. So originally we planned to have it at $200, and you guys are already nuts and gave $200 for St. Jude's. So we're going to see if we can do 400. So keep it locked to the channel. Also check the Twitch link in the description. You can also come hang out in voice in Discord as well. Again, you don't need to be on the same server. We're just going to be doing kind of a 2-hour sprint of fishing, and we're going to give away some cash prizes, Amazon gift cards and whatnot. So that's kind of the PSA at the end of the patch notes here themselves. Sorry this video went a little bit longer than I intended, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video, and until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with the clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah.